good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you to the newest episode of the X Vlog Live. I am your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and if I sound beaten and exhausted, it's because, well, obviously yesterday I had to cancel primetime gaming due to my mom's condition took a turn for the worst. I was with her until late last night. I was there this morning again. I just want to say I want to say a big thank you to everyone who there was so much outcry and support with love and prayers that I couldn't logistically respond to everyone. And like that's one of my biggest things. Mom is stable, she is comfortable, and she is sleeping. I'm going back after the show. And some people might ask, well, boom, why are you doing the show? It's the only happy place that I currently have. I've been dealing with this for quite some time, and hanging out with this incredible community and talking about video games is my zen, if you will. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has been asking about my mom, and I will keep this amazing community updated. But listen, let's get to why you're here, ladies and gentlemen. There has been a lot of ongoing conversation regarding what Phil Spencer said in the Verge interview. That has now been brought to the forefront of gaming once again with Jim Ryan's recent statement, and we have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to say regarding it. I think that Jim Ryan has balls of steel to suggest that infinitely Call of Duty should be on PlayStation until the cows come home, when Sony is not investing $70 billion. Why I find it to be ironic and almost an oxymoron, if you will, is the fact that Sony has gone and done so many things to keep content away from Xbox players for years. Like, this isn't something that just happened. He has gone out of his way, of head of SIE, to keep content away from Xbox gamers, where you are forced to buy a PlayStation to play said games or said content. And the fact that Microsoft is investing in their business with ABK, and somehow that's a problem, is why I actually have a lot to say. But let's welcome in the crazy one of the best in the community. He went on a bit of a rant, I heard, from a little bird yesterday. If you missed the podcast, the Xbox International podcast yesterday, he had Danny Pena on from Gamer Tag Radio, folks. That's a big get. And if you missed that, you should definitely check it out. Crazy Lou, how the heck are you?
Man, me? What can I say, man? I'm pretty good on my side. Worried about you and your mom, really, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a tough go. There's no doubt about it. But like I said, she's stable, she's comfortable, and that's all we can ask at this point.
Yeah, but other than that, man, really excited to be here on the show and just talk about this for the time that's left. And I want to hear your thoughts about it, because really, with you on what Sony is doing. He really does have huge cojones, as we say here, to talk about that. So it's going to be really interesting today.
Well, you know what? Let's first of all, we got to welcome in. Wow, we already have 130 people here. We're only 4 minutes into the show. Folks, listen, if you're new, if you're finding the channel for the first time, I want to ask that you consider subscribing. If you want to support the channel in any way that allows Mrs. Boomstick and I to do these monster giveaways, and we have a big one coming up at the end of the month, worth $500. You can drop a super chat or become a channel member. We have 2 tiers. One is $5, one is $10. And what that does is, again, allow for Mrs. Boomstick and I to do these big giveaways. And for the remainder of 2022, we're giving away $2,000. $500 at the end of September, $500 at the beginning of November, and $1,000 for the holiday season during Breakfast with Boom. And they're all digital, and all of our international gamers are welcome. If you are outside of the U.S., we will still honor those prizes by using PayPal to get you your amount, and we pay all transfer fees, as well as any denominational changes from currencies. So we pick up that tab, and we want to make sure that if you are someone that supports this channel and you do win a prize, we're going to get it to you regardless of where you are in the world. Again, we use PayPal for our safety and your safety, and to make a PayPal account is a snap of a finger, and they do all the conversions when it comes to the denominations. And again, it's our way of saying thank you. But I want to bring everybody back a bit. And before we talk about what Jim Ryan had to say, I want to talk about what Phil Spencer had to say. And this article came way of The Verge. It was written by a friend of the a friend of the community. Again, this is what Phil Spencer had to say regarding their letter to Jim Ryan. And I quote, "In January, we provided a signed agreement to Sony to guarantee Call of Duty on PlayStation with feature and content parity for at least several more years beyond the current Sony contract, an offer that goes well beyond typical gaming industry agreements." And this comes the way of Microsoft CEO Phil Spencer, CEO of Microsoft Gaming, Phil Spencer. And why this is interesting, ladies and gentlemen, is because Phil Spencer said it right there for you. She said, he said that, they were going to not only honor all contracts, and that included Deathloop, that included Tokyo,
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ghostwire. Thank you. Ghostwire Tokyo, which obviously they haven't. Either of them have reached Xbox as of yet. Mm-hmm. And the deal, we had confirmed recently that their marketing deal with Call of Duty ended, and it's set to end in 2024. Now, we learned yesterday, and it appeared that Jim Ryan kind of spoke out of turn, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to break down exactly what Jim Ryan had to say. And this is pretty interesting. And this is basically both entities drawing a line in the sand. And I think the one that's wrong here is Sony and Jim Ryan, simply because, and I said this in the opening, Microsoft is the company that's making this $70 billion investment. And regardless of how big Call of Duty is, it's simply an IP that gets challenged on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis by the likes of Battlefield, Halo, Apex Legends, Fortnite, and I can continue to go on and on. Those are the four big ones, right? Call of Duty is big. Yes, it is big. But so I feel, based on the statement I'm going to read to you right now from Jim Ryan, I think that they are 1,000% wrong. And I say that to say that they have gone out of their way, ladies and gentlemen, to be the bullies of the industry. If you are someone that Sony is your brand, I'm here to say you're welcome here, but you have to call a spade, right? They have done blocking deals. They have paid developers block money fees to block games coming onto Game Pass. They have hatted tons of games that you can't play anywhere but on a Sony PlayStation 4 or 5. They have taken the face of Marvel and have locked it down behind the PlayStation 4 and 5. So much so, ladies and gentlemen, that Spider-Man in a third-party Avengers game wasn't even allowed into the Xbox version. That's crazy. Now, I get it. It's business. And I don't fault Sony for wanting to stay number one. But here's the thing. Now, Microsoft is competing. Now, if you remember, a lot of the Sony fans, including many of the journalists out there that we read their stuff every day, said we want Microsoft to compete. We want them to show Sony that they are in it for a fight. And for a while, it didn't look like they had much fight into them. But that changed post E3 2018 when they started buying a few things and they started adding to Xbox Game Studios. And now they're in a position monetarily to make a purchase that Sony couldn't make. And they're going to own Call of Duty. So, you know what? Enough of that rambling. I'm going to read to you Jim Ryan's response. And you tell me who is really crying foul here. And he says this, ladies and gentlemen, I quote, "I hadn't intended to comment on what I understood to be a private business discussion, but I feel the need to set the record straight because Phil Spencer brought this into the public forum. Microsoft has only offered Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate, on many levels and failed to take account of the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle." And I have to say, pump the effing brakes here, ladies and gentlemen, because I see a lot of people pulling up what Microsoft had to say regarding when they first announced this deal. And I'm going to read that to you because people are running with, and I mean people, I mean journalists, I mean people in the community, people that are stout defenders of the PlayStation banner. And I hear you if you are, if that's your bag, I hear you. But this is, I'm reading directly from this. This is directly from blogs.microsoft.com. And this is what people are running with. People are circling, people are crayoning it, they're doing the Sharpie. This is what it says, folks. And you tell me where the disparage is. "To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the term of any existing agreement with Activision. And we have committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future." Now, let me stop right there, Lou, because they say into the future. 3 years is into the future. 2027 is into the future. Nowhere in this statement does this say Call of Duty will definitively be on PlayStation for the rest of eternity. And this is where I have a problem with journalists. This is where I have a problem with the people in this community saying that, they pinched the toe of Microsoft. They caught him out there in a lie. That's not a lie. That doesn't say indefinitely. That doesn't say forever. That doesn't say 25-year contract. And shame on Sony for asking for that. Like, honestly, who do you think that you are? I understand you're the market leader, and they're the market leader everywhere. But how can they demand this on their console when the same people demanding this have gone out of their way to strip content from third-party games, i.e. Spider-Man, pay indie developers a blocking fee that has been confirmed not to put games on Game Pass. In some of these contracts, they have first right refusal built into these contracts with it. You have to actually tell them. I have to call Sony with my game and tell them I want to put it somewhere else, and they have to tell me whether or not it's okay. Holy cow! Are they the Gestapo? Are they the mafia? I don't know, Lou. Let's start with Jim Ryan's statement. I gotta hear and get your take on this.
Oh man. I mean, yesterday after I read that, I was like, what? He's going to keep on pushing? I mean, seriously. I after the whole Brazil incident that happened, I mean, they got a response from Microsoft, and Microsoft came clear on the open and said, "Hey, this is what I mean. You guys have this and been number one in the market. You guys have had this position, and either way, if Call of Duty gets on Game Pass or anything, are going to still buy your console and all that stuff." And they actually came out with that statement and told them about it. Microsoft came out on the clear and said it. But the point that left my mouth open was when they clearly said, "Hey, you've also stopped Game Pass from growing by keeping third-party developers away from us." When I read that part, I was like, "Whoa!" They actually did come out and say that. I mean, I was really like, "Damn!" They actually are doing this, and this is a practice. And don't get me wrong, this is a practice that's been going on since Nintendo and Sega happened. Because I remember back in the day, Nintendo told third-party developers like, "Hey, if you develop for another company, blah blah blah." I'm talking about back in the day, but it's a practice that's been going on for a long time. But that Microsoft actually goes through and opens their mouth to defend themselves. I say, "Whoa, this is huge. This is big," and I hope that they keep on defending themselves against this company that is trying to be a victim on something that they're not right about. I mean, seriously, they're looking for every excuse on the book. Like, for example, the CMA came out, I think it was CMA or it was Sony, I don't know which one of them both, but they came out saying, "Oh, they probably are going to make Call of Duty with lower quality if they actually acquire it." What? Lower quality? What do you mean by why would they make it lower quality?
That would actually cost them development dollars to make a lower, lesser impressive version than it would be just to make a generally let's just make one version, make it on PC. We can scale to PS4, PS5. We can scale to Xbox and call it a day. That's preposterous.
I mean, when I read that, I was like, "What?" I mean, why would they grab a game that literally brings a lot of money in? And it does. It's a huge title. It does. It brings a lot of money in. Why would it want to make it less quality? I mean, seriously, that's a dumb argument right there. And what else? They kept on arguing about. That's one thing. Probably the other thing that they're fighting about, I think, is because since Sony always had their their content exclusive, because what they had was content exclusive each and every single year for a whole year. I think that's another thing that they're arguing about. I get that. But hey, if Microsoft buys this company and it goes and the whole deal goes through and everything just goes right through straightforward, you got to sit down and negotiate with them, not go out in public and talk about it, not, trying to be the victim. When you guys, I mean, literally the whole generation, last generation of PS4, you guys had content all the way. You still do have content on it. I mean, you had content not only for Call of Duty, you had content for Destiny 2. Don't you remember that when the first Destiny came out?
Destiny 1 and 2, not just
yep.
Yeah. I remember that there were strikes that were exclusive to PlayStation. There were actual weapons that were exclusive and gear that was exclusive. And what wound up happening is after the year, it still didn't launch. And by the time it actually launched, they have nerfed the gear, and basically the weapon, which I believe was a hand cannon, was useless. Like literally, look. Here's the thing, it's preposterous that they're complaining about this deal when they are not making the investment. That's my biggest problem.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's just bad. I mean, and him coming out of nowhere yesterday, just talking about this. What are you doing? I mean, seriously, Jim, what are you doing? You're pushing a monster that literally. Not only that, you guys a couple of weeks ago just raised your prices. And what if this monster actually gets agitated? Because they do have the power to do it. I mean, they're already losing money on a console. What would they say? Like I mentioned this before. I think I said it on the show here the other day. What happens if Microsoft decides, "Hey, okay, you guys want to push? I'm going to push back, and I'm going to drop $50 on both consoles." What are you going to do about it? I mean, you're pushing a monster that's quiet when they're trying to play nice with you. They're trying to keep things peaceful, nice, so you guys can continue to grow and keep being in the business.
Well, you know what? Let me specifically ask you
What's
this.
up?
Jim Ryan's statement where he says, I hadn't intended to comment on what I understood to be a private business discussion. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
In his second statement, he confirms that Microsoft has, quote unquote, only offered Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for an additional 3 years. Now, folks, if you're not a mathematician like me, which I'm not, I'm jiving, it's to 2027. We're currently in 2022. They have the marketing deal. So they're going to have the marketing deal for 2022 through 2027, right? Or no, let me rephrase that. The marketing deal is only to 2024. They will have
Yeah.
Call of Duty on the PlayStation until 2027. Now, why that's a big deal is because Microsoft isn't pulling the rug out from under them and saying after 2024, tough titty, right? They're not saying that, right? What they're saying is we're going to keep Call of Duty on the thing, on your box until 2027. And what that does, folks, is something that's never done in business. And that gives your competitor time. Time to do what? Time to invest in a company, a publisher, a developer,
Sure.
to bring back something like a SOCOM and make it as good or as competitive to Call of Duty, whatever that's going to look like in 2028. So that gives Sony something that's the most valuable asset in business, and that's time. My question to you is this being a very aggressive, is Sony, specifically Jim Ryan, being overly aggressive when they don't own and they will not own Call of Duty? Why are they owed it?
Because here's the thing, though, that after that statement you just made, that Jim Ryan made, that I really seriously, man, they still, like you said, they can get a developer, they can get a to make a SOCOM, make a comeback with SOCOM or something, or either that they can sit down and renegotiate with Microsoft. Because Microsoft, I mean, I remember Phil Spencer always said, my doors are open to negotiations. He's always said that. I mean, he's always open to any negotiations you can make. You could probably say, hey, Microsoft, let's do this. Why don't we get Game Pass on PlayStation? I'm just saying it just to say it. I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but if it does, cool. And let's say let's get PlayStation on Xbox. Since everybody's trying to make an app, like Netflix and Disney Plus, and you can have it anywhere. And pretty much they want to reach all these millions and millions of players. So billions, I mean, my bad. So they can actually sit down and renegotiate for after the 2027 goes by, and say, hey, we want to keep on getting Call of Duty. What can we do? How can we negotiate to keep on bringing Call of Duty over here? It can happen. Why don't they just sit down and negotiate and just not go out in public and speak the way he spoke? Because again, I don't get it. Why are they trying to be the victims when you have been doing a practice for so long and have exclusivity content for so long? I mean, literally, when was the last generation started? It was in 2013, right? Last generation started on PS4, and Xbox One started in 2013, 2023. That means 10 years, and you still have exclusivity content on PlayStation till 2024, right? Isn't that the whole market deal?
They're paid up for marketing rights.
Yeah.
Until the end of 2024. So this year,
yeah,
with Modern Warfare 2,
okay,
obviously they have the marketing rights for Warzone 2, whatever that's going to look like. Whatever Warzone, DLC or whatever they're going to add to the game is going to be marketed next year under Sony.
Yeah.
There's no mainline Call of Duty. They're taking the year off, and in 2024, when they potentially launch Warzone 3 or additional content and the new Call of Duty, they're going to have marketing rights until that as well. So they have 3 more years left, and Microsoft, Phil Spencer, offered them an additional 3 years.
Yeah.
I actually don't see what the problem is, to be quite honest. Sony, and again, I have to keep reiterating this, folks.
Yep.
Sony has been money-hatting things for years. Last generation, how many of your favorite games that you would see in maybe Japan, right? That you were like, man, I kind of wish that, was on Xbox. That never came, right? Games that were not Japanese bound, that were just regular games, came out from new publishers or new developers.
Ooh.
Money had it behind PlayStation 4. We've seen that this year, right? Final Fantasy 16, not coming. Forspoken, not coming. Final Fantasy 7 Part 1 and 2, not coming.
Yep.
So I mean, so to suggest, and again, I don't understand this mentality. You are number one, right? And let's bring to the table here that they're just not number one by a pinch. They're number one by a significant amount, even when it comes to console sales. Well over even the Switch. Currently, folks, if you didn't know, and this is where the mathematician comes in, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 together come to about 140 million consoles, right? Right now, the Switch is sitting at 111, which is fantastic. They broke 100 million consoles. That's bonkers. There's still 29 million under Sony. And little one all the way in third place, and not in third place by a pinch, in third place by 50%. Last generation, Xbox sold 58 million Xbox Ones. That's the current number. They have currently sold 16 million in this generation Series X and S. So again, 16 plus 58 is 74. So 74 million versus Nintendo's, which is only one console, 111, and Sony's two consoles, almost 140. 74 to 140. That is nearly a 2-to-1 ratio.
Yep.
And so I find it extremely odd that places like the CMA are concerned for Sony's number one position. When Lou, I want to let you read this because you put something into the DM, and if you wanted to know what the actual responsibilities are for the CMA and what they are there, who they're there to protect. Do you want me to read it, Lou?
If you want, I got it up right now.
Oh no, by all means, take it away because you put this in here, folks. It starts out with our responsibilities, but please continue.
We work to ensure that consumers get a good deal when buying goods and services and business operate within the law. We do this in a number of ways. We investigate mergers, organizations to make sure they don't reduce competition. We investigate entire markets if we think there are competition or consumer problems. We take action against business and individuals that take part in cartels or anti-competitive behavior. We protect consumers from unfair trading practices. We encourage governments and other regulators to use competition effectively on behalf of consumers. The Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, is an independent, non-ministerial department. Our work is overseen by a board and led by the chief executive and senior team. Decisions in some investigations are made by independent members of a CMA panel. So this is the part what I don't get, though, because we're talking about the CMA over there in UK, right?
Yeah.
They protect consumers or consumer problems. Isn't it the price, how they raise the price and all that stuff, a problem right now where they're in position? They rose the price on games. That's one, $10 more. Supposedly next-gen games, which we still have not seen yet, full power next-gen games. We're still waiting for them. And yeah, I understand that they're getting hard to create, but not only Sony did that, a bunch of them jumped into that too. And that's the truth. And also the price raise on the console, which is $50, and Austin Evans literally took down the console and it's smaller, it's cheaper, isn't it? The motherboard is cheaper, the heatsink is
Yep.
smaller.
Yep.
So
Everything. The motherboard is 2 inches
is
shorter, by the
shorter,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it pretty much lost a pound to it right now from the first edition. Probably a
Yes.
pound, wasn't it?
A
Pound, yeah.
little over a pound. Yes.
Little over a pound, yeah. And don't they have to protect the consumers though? And why don't they ask Sony, hey Sony, why are you raising the price on this? You know, since you're making it. And not only that, let's just add to this. How many months ago was it? Was it like 3 or 4 months ago? Sony said they made profit off the console.
Actually, specifically, it was August 4th
Yeah.
of last year where they announced that they had just crossed 10 million units.
Yeah.
And so from the 10 million units that they had sold to the 22 million units that they have put in their last financials, it gave them 12 million PlayStation 5s profitable. 12 million profitable PlayStation 5s. They have now made it cheaper to manufacture, ship, and make, and they have raised it $50. Folks, something that has never been done before in
Yeah.
modern gaming. And I'm not saying that the VR Unit 2 shouldn't have been raised $100. That's so niche it doesn't even matter. It's not even a part of the conversation. We're talking mainline consoles have
Yeah.
never seen, after 2 years on the market, a $50 raise. What you have seen traditionally have been a $50 decrease.
Yep. And that's insane. I mean, seriously, $50 more? I mean, or what was it, 50 euros more? It's
Yeah,
insane.
it's you know, again, debate based on, you know, the region's denomination with inflation and stuff. Like, I know some people tried to run with the narrative that Microsoft raised the price of the Series X and S in India. That wasn't in fact the case at all. That was due to the inflation. That had nothing to do with Microsoft.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's weird how they just came up and all of a sudden, hey, let's raise the price because of inflation or something. And then all of a sudden, the lighter mod on the console, like comes out, Austin Evans grabs it and he opens it up. You're like, what? Then why are you guys raising the price when the other? I think it was a couple months ago. Like I said, they were talking about how they made profits on the console and they did make money off of the console. So I don't get why the price increase. You know, and CMA is not saying nothing against you.
Well, you know what it is. Again, if you read a lot of what the CMA had to say, it sounded like a fanboy's manifesto. Honestly, that's what it sounded like.
I said, are they in the pockets or something? I mean, I was like, what? Why are they saying this? You know,
corruption could be. You know, you could sit back and be like, you know, this sounds very one-sided.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel like. You know, they sound very one-sided, and they're like protecting. And not only that, it's only there because I mean, Brazil went through fine, India went through fine.
Yep.
And over there, they're like, they're like putting a lot of butts in front of this whole deal, and they're putting it. And Sony has put one, but no, that's two. In Brazil, they said something, and here this is the second one. But the CMA, I mean, the whole CMA issue started in July of this year, July 4th. They started talking about it. And it's been, you know, going and going and going. All of a sudden, this week it just blew up again. Yeah. And they were talking about, oh yeah, they're going to lower the quality. You know, Microsoft is going to do this, is going to do that. It's like, why are you guys saying this? I mean, against a company that is actually buying Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, they're investing their money.
They're investing their money, and not only that, not only investing their money, you got lawyers in there. You got what's it called? In Spanish, it's contables. Is it accountants?
Accountants. Yeah, they're spending a lot of money on this deal.
They're spending a lot of money on this deal, and they're doing all this stuff. And you guys are trying to stop a deal, which is actually a positive thing that is happening. Because last night I went on an angry rant, and I went and took off and was really pissed off about it. Nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about what those developers are going through. I mean, I said it yesterday. Bobby Kotick, has put these developers through a lot of crap.
Yep.
He has been doing a lot of stuff, and not only him, you got all these other people beneath him putting them through a lot of stuff too, which we don't know who they are. So basically, this deal goes through. It's gonna help those developers finally get some peace in mind and develop something they want to develop. Not only work just in Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft. That's all they've been working on.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to see Activision Blizzard the way it was before, where, for example, they made superhero games, they made Tony Hawk games, they made, what else did they make? They had Crash Bandicoot games, they had a whole bunch of cool games in Activision Blizzard that they were making. But these guys are just, they're just stopping this deal to happen. And again, I worry more about the people in there instead of saying, oh yeah, Call of Duty day one and Game Pass or this and that. I don't care about that. I just worry about those developers and their state of mind, and that they can finally get some peace.
Yeah.
And get off of that stuff that's going on over there. It's insane.
Well, as what do you call, as Kay Asante, good friend of the program, great friend of the community, says, the salt mines of Call of Duty. Listen, I got to catch up with some of the super chats, and then I'm going to get into what Clobriel had to say about this. Brings up some really great points. And if you don't know who Clobriel is, he doesn't consider himself to be an insider. He's an insider. And he's also someone that I highly respect. But the first super chat of the day comes the way of Highlander 01, or 001. He drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, good afternoon, Boom. Hope your mom is doing good. Yeah, she is stable and she is resting. And that's all I can ask at this point, considering that how yesterday went. It's a big step up. So thank you so much for the well wishes and the super chat. And he said, if PlayStation loses Call of Duty, does Jim Ryan keep his job? Well, that's definitely for debate. And Brett Bingham, good generous friend of the program, drops a $5 super chat and says, inadequate. Sounds like the description of Jim Ryan's leadership. Sony is the market leader. Put on your big boy pants. Put your big boy pants on, Jim, and act like it. I agree. Tom from Toonami, who became a channel member recently, thank you so much for that. He drops a $5 super chat and says, I wonder if Jim broke some kind of NDAs by revealing specifics about the agreement Microsoft sent. Could be why we haven't heard a rebuttal from Microsoft yet. That's a very interesting sentiment. It's something I didn't even consider, Tom. That's, you wonder, because if you look at the two comments, Phil's is written by Phil Spencer. You ever hear Phil talk? He's reserved, right? He's a reserved professional businessman, and he always seems like he has your and my best, best ideas at the forefront of whatever they do, right? Like they put the customer first.
Yeah.
And listen, they're business. They're a conglomerate. They're here to make money, but they go out of their way to make you feel like you are important, right? That's what we do, and that's what they do at Microsoft. Whereas if you look at the statement from Jim Ryan, it's a very shoot from the hip, angry. That's a very angrily written statement where he put certain information out there that Phil didn't. Phil simply said, we're extending it past the 2024 date for several years. Several doesn't mean infinity. Several doesn't mean 25-year contract. Several means, 3. But he didn't specifically say it, right? Jim Ryan let us know that it was 3. That might be an NDA breaking kind of a situation, but we'll see. We'll see. And maybe, they baited him. Maybe they baited Jim Ryan and he shot off the hip and now he's going to be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. We will see in the coming days. Quabini Gaming, generous friend of the program, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Boom, I'm thinking 2027, 2028 is the start of another generation, and that's very true. And Jim wants to be assured it makes to PlayStation 6. Well, I'm going to be honest with you, folks. If I'm Microsoft, and there is going to be a PlayStation 6 where King David says there's not going to be, there's definitely going to be more hardware. I say, well, you know what? Our launch title is going to be one of our launch titles is going to be Call of Duty on our console. And what are they going to do? They're going to make you want to invest in Xbox because they have a game that Sony doesn't. Does that sound familiar, folks? Because that sounds very similar to Wolverine and Spider-Man 2 and Final Fantasy 7 remakes 1 and 2. And we don't even know if Final Fantasy 16 is coming. And we don't know if Forspoken is ever going to be there. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it seems Microsoft is basically pulling a Sony, and now Sony has a problem with that. See, that's where I immediately have an issue with Jim Ryan and SIE. But let me continue. Hargeet Chani, and by the way, Mr. Hargeet Chani, I got to get you on the show. I don't know if you're on Twitter. If you are, DM me, or if not, send me a message. I don't really use Discord, but I will reach out to you. I got to get you on the show. He drops not one, but two very generous $10 super chats. I'm going to get to that right now. Actually, he drops three $10 super chats. My goodness, the generosity, brother. Thank you so much for that. His first one says this: PS4 to Xbox One, 70-30 market share. Wow, that's more. That's wow, that's something. That's more than 2 to 1. He says 70-30 market share, 70% makes you a monopoly. If you want to play Call of Duty on console, your options, Xbox or PlayStation, they're taking from a monopoly position about the competition. Crazy. We also have Murani Lewis. Hey, Murani, welcome to the show, brother. Thank you. He drops a $10 super chat and says, Phil Spencer's offer keeps Call of Duty on PlayStation with features and content parity for the entire generation, which is a huge get for Sony, which I said in the beginning. Jim Ryan is upset that Call of Duty is going to be in Game Pass. Well, that's too bad. It's a first-party IP. One of the biggest sticking points with Game Pass over Sony's service is that all first-party games go into the service for day-and-date drops. Too bad, Sony. You can't dictate the entire world because you're number one market leader. And see, again, this is the inherent problem. The arrogance that Sony has, not only to ask their fans of $70 games and $10 increased prices for their controllers, and now a $50 upsell on their consoles. And in the US, you can only find bundles that are $50 more that force you, the consumer, to buy Horizon Forbidden West. See, so I'm saying that they are crying and they're doing all of these things that are not pro-consumer, but somehow if someone does compete with them, it's wrong. Microsoft investing $70 billion into Activision King Blizzard is somehow going to affect Sony. It's going to potentially move people to buy Xbox. And what's wrong with that? Because that's what Sony's been doing for decades.
For a long time.
So Hargeet Chani drops an additional $2 $10 super chat, and his second one says this: don't like that extended deal with Sony as it forces ABK to continue marketing Call of Duty. Would rather studios be given latitude to make other games, which I absolutely agree. Gyms like Kodak, drop everything else, continue making Call of Duty. I 100% agree. And he also says in his third super chat, and thank you for the generosity once again, Hargeet, I assume Jim sent an agreement to Phil when they bought Bungie, right?
Yep.
Let's see it, Jim. You wouldn't be expecting more from your competitor than you're willing to do, right? And you are correct in saying so. So listen, I want to bring up for a hot second what Clobriel had to say in regards to this. And I want to get the chat's opinion, but of course, I want to get your opinion on this. And Clobriel, who is, let's see, one of the best in the business. Clobriel has a ton of followers, and this particular tweet, folks, 1,085 retweets, 145 quote tweets, and nearly 7,500 likes. This is what he had to say. Jim, it's inadequate for gamers. Right? That's what Jim Ryan... actually, he says this. Jim, It's inadequate for gamers, Ryan. Locks exclusive Call of Duty content to PlayStation for years. Check.
Mm-hmm.
Locks AAA titles by multi-platform publishers to PlayStation
14.
for years. Check. Raises PS5 price by $50. Check. Games to $70. Check.
Check.
Talks about his cats when others talk about abortion rights. Check, check, check. So
Mm-hmm.
who are we really dealing with here? Who is the devil in this conversation? The
But
devil is Jim Ryan. The bully of the schoolyard is Sony, and the fact that you have someone that's coming in,
yeah,
Microsoft, who everyone asked for them to step up and challenge Sony. We want Xbox to compete. Can't you compete, Mr. Phil Spencer? And they are competing now at a high level, and it's a problem. What do
but
you have to say about this, Lou?
you making it after you sound making it sound like this. I mean, I'm thinking like, but they're doing something wrong though, and what they're doing in a wrong thing, guys, is they're making themselves look weak.
Dude, 100%. 100%.
They're making themselves look weak. I mean, right now, Sony. I mean, you were talking about numbers, and if I add all the Sony consoles, right, of all the generations, talk about PS1 sold 102 million, PS2 158 million, PS3 88 million, PS4 100, what is it,
117 million so
117
far.
million.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right now with the PS5, we add them all up, it's pretty much close to 500 million consoles you guys have sold. You guys have been on top of the line, doing, making your name and everything, and you guys going out here and just yelling or complaining, it's making y'all look weak. I mean, right now I'm looking y'all, I'm hearing you speak this and saying this, and I was like, man, but you guys are number one. You sound like you're crying, you're weak. You sound really weak right now. That's what I'm getting. That's the feeling I'm getting. Like, why are you so scared if you've been number one so many years? I mean, Call of Duty came out. When was it? It came out on PS2, I remember, but it became really popular once it got its online with it, which was the 360 and PS3 era. That's when it became super popular, and you guys survived this without Call of beforehand. You guys survived generations without Call of Duty. So why are you being acting so weak? Why are you so scared, Sony? That is something that I ask myself. It's so. Another question I have is: are you guys really actually having problems over there in Sony headquarters? Because the other day they came out with a financial year after year thing, and it was, what was it? A 48% loss? Was it that they had
They
this
did
year?
post some losses. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They posted some really high losses this year, and they had a pretty high loss. So are they scared that they're going to keep on losing? Are we going to see a PS3 scenario back, when it happened back then? Because not only that, they increased the price, so we're pretty much getting to the PS3 scenario. Because what was the price for PS3? Wasn't it $600 when it came out?
Yeah, what? Yeah, PS3 was $600 here in the States. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, no, $600. So are we starting to see that again? So yeah, they're sounding pretty scared to me. I mean, seriously, I think they're scared.
Well,
And
I have another topic here that I want to
yeah,
get into.
go for
That's
it.
a bit annoying.
Okay, okay.
And this one comes the way of the Game Awards head and face man, Jeff Keighley, folks. Now, I have come to Jeff's defense on many occasions, and I think that Jeff is something that the industry needs. I think that his the way he conducts business by getting all of these these entities together on the Game Awards, what they did over at the at every show that he does. I think the shows are fantastic.
Yeah,
I think that they're well produced. They do have the gamers in mind, but more but what one of the things that bothers me, that I have a distaste for Jeff, and why I find him he wonders why he gets in trouble with the gaming community, is because I'm an Xbox guy. I say that all the time, but I also have a PlayStation and a Switch that I use regularly.
yeah,
I am the first person to put something out there, when Sony does something, yes, I like we're talking today, I will give them the business. But how often have I given Microsoft the business? If you're following me for a while, I have put their feet to the fire many times, more times than not, because I don't cap for a company. If Microsoft is not delivering, I come out and I say it. If they're not doing what they're supposed to me as a fan and as a customer, I put it out there. And I'm not ashamed to do it. I'm not worried about Microsoft not listening to the show. They appreciate the honesty, which is why they listen to this show. Okay. Yesterday at 3:56 p.m., we get a tweet from Jeff Keighley, and he puts on in this tweet the Brad Smith interview where he's talking about the deal and that how Microsoft is going to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. And this is what he quote tweets. In February, Microsoft's Brad Smith said that Xbox would treat Call of Duty similar to Minecraft and put it on even more platforms, including continuing on PlayStation. And he asked the question, did Xbox want a concession from Sony to get more than 3 years of Call of Duty? And I say to Jeff Keighley, professionally and diplomatically, that's none of your business. Because the last time I checked, you're not supposed to be in Sony's pocket. You're supposed to be a representative of gaming. You could love Sony. That could be your best buddy. That could be your number one platform that you game on. But how dare you get into the business of what Microsoft is doing after spending and investing $70 billion in ABK? See, this is what gets him in trouble. Why are you asking this question? Are you asking it for yourself because you are a former journalist? Or are you asking this question to incite a riot with PlayStation fans, potentially the FTC, potentially the CMA? See, this is what I don't like. I don't like this at all. This is being very, very pushy. And again, not taking away from what Jeff brings to the industry. I love the Game Awards. I look forward to it. I cover it here on this channel. But this is the kind of shenanigans that I don't like. Please comment on this, Lou.
Jeff Keighley. What to say about him, man? Oh, man. Seriously. Why you want to go on the shenanigans about this, really? I mean, just let the deal go through and let's just let things happen. Instead of putting like your 2 cents in, are they going to keep it on there? Are they not? That is something that they got to sit down and discuss between them, not us, especially in the position that Jeff Keighley is. I mean, he has to be neutral. And okay, he can love Sony, because I'm going to tell you something. I am a gamer, right? I am a gamer. Boom, you are a gamer. All of us that are here on this chat, all these 565 people that are on here listening right now are gamers, right? We love to play games. We don't care where we play it. We just love it. And if a company goes out and does something bad, we're going to rant. We don't care if it's Microsoft. We don't care if it's PlayStation. We don't care. Sony. We don't care if it's Nintendo. We're going to go on a mad rant if we're not going to be happy about it. We're going to go on a mad rant. And if Microsoft is actually, like I said, doing something good, for example, this Game Pass thing that's been going on for a long time, it's actually one of the greatest deals out there right now. It's getting Sony to invest into that too. And it's probably going to get Nintendo in the future get to invest in that too. Why? Because it's helping us gamers save money. And we're really happy with the service. That's something that I say. They're doing a pretty good job. I don't get, why does Jeff Keighley have to jump in here in comments like what he was saying? Can you repeat again what he was saying about the PlayStation part? That Microsoft is just going to keep on pushing those games out there.
Okay, so I'll reread it to you.
Reread it to me.
Yeah, in February, Microsoft's Brad Smith, which is leading the defense of this deal, said that Xbox would treat Call of Duty similar to Minecraft and put it on even more platforms, including continuing on PlayStation. But also in this interview that he put out there, it doesn't say definitively. It doesn't say infinitively. It doesn't say that for the life of X console or 25-year contract. He doesn't specifically say. He says that they're going to put it on all of these different platforms, including continuing on PlayStation, but is
Mhm.
not specific on how long that is. What
Yeah.
see here is where I lose my shit, people.
Mhm.
This is what I don't understand. When Sony does something, they are expected to be they're the market leader. They can do whatever they want. Even if it's anti-consumer, people applaud it. They do the golf clap. Even if
Yep.
it's putting their fan base second, people applaud it. Like, go like this.
Yep.
This is great. Sony's great. When Microsoft does something, Microsoft has to be the good guy. Microsoft has
Yep.
to
Has to
let
be.
everything everywhere because, well, they're kumbaya and they're led by Phil Spencer, who's a good guy. Folks, I don't understand people who defend this.
Yep.
Why is Sony allowed to do bad behavior and they're unchecked by anyone in this industry, whether that be fans, diehard fans, the media, the FTC, the CMA? It's like they have carte blanche to do whatever they want. And when Microsoft does something, if they fart, they get slapped with
So
the stick on the
yep.
wrist. It's
Yep.
ridiculous. And it's a double
Yep.
standard that continues to go on. And listen, I know I'm going on a bit of a crazy rant here,
No,
but
but go
come on,
for it.
you got to admit this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
To suggest that one can do and the other can't is why I have a problem. Sorry.
And I'm glad that you reread that because again, it's the facts. They actually did say it. We're gonna keep putting Call of Duty like Minecraft. I mean, how long? When did they buy Minecraft? What was it? 2014, 2013?
It's many, many years ago. And
Many
you know,
many years ago,
yeah.
and it's like what Minecraft is like Netflix. I mean, literally, you even have it in your toaster. You have it in your refrigerator. You have it everywhere. Minecraft is everywhere. So if they already said from the beginning, right? Hey, we're gonna put this everywhere. Call of Duty is gonna be everywhere, no matter what. They even opened the door to Nintendo, which Nintendo. When has Nintendo gotten a Call of Duty? Since when? When was it? Was it the last time they got a Call of Duty? Was it?
I think the last actual Call of Duty on a Nintendo system, if I'm
Was
not
we?
mistaken, folks, was Call of Duty 3 on the Wii.
I think it was we. Yeah. So look how many years it hasn't gotten a Call of Duty. And Microsoft said, "Hey, we're gonna put Call of Duty on Nintendo too." They said they're opening the doors to everywhere. So if they're opening the doors to everywhere, we don't see Nintendo going on a rant. Have we heard Nintendo going on a rant? No, we don't see that.
Nintendo's doing what Nintendo has done for
Yes,
decades. They're
yes.
marching to their own drum. They're led by their first party greatness, which is why I
Yeah.
continue to support them. Now, granted, I admit I'm a part of the problem because they do kind of rake the people over the coals with their re-releases and stuff. But
Oh
again,
yeah.
that's a horse of another color. But yeah, I agree with you. They're not out
Yeah.
there ranting because they're doing their own thing. Listen,
Yeah.
Sony, and here's the other thing, Lou. This is again what drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
I have on more times than I have hands, fingers and toes, applauded and cheered and championed Sony's first party games because
Yeah.
that's why I own a PlayStation. I'm a single player, story driven, over the shoulder, adult themed kind of a gamer. I like their games what they are. Now, if you don't like those types of games, I hear you. I'm not going
Yeah.
to argue with you. Not every game is for every gamer, right? I
Agree.
hear that. With that said, we keep hearing in every conversation, folks, just go to social media and look at it. Every conversation about Xbox versus Sony, they don't have bangers, right? So what's the problem? What's the problem here? You have The Last of Us, Horizon, Uncharted, God of War, Gran Turismo, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper if they come out with a new one. I can keep going of their bangers. They have an incredible library of games.
Mm-hmm.
What is stopping Sony from saying, you know what? we don't need Call of Duty. We're going to
Yeah.
take SOCOM to the 11th level. We're going to bring back an IP that people have been clamoring for
Oof.
years.
Yes,
Everyone,
please.
I'm telling you right now, if they put the investment, if they spend the money that they would on a like a Last of Us Part Two, where they spent millions and millions and millions of dollars, they invest that into something like a SOCOM, it could challenge Call of Duty. Call of Duty
Mhm.
isn't guaranteed to win shit. It does because
I
it's
mean,
one of the biggest first person shooters out there. It's not a
mm,
guaranteed W. So if
hmm
Sony spends the money, invests the money the same way that Microsoft is investing the money, maybe they could have a challenger to Call of Duty in the form of a newly revised SOCOM. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm gonna tell you something. I totally agree with you there. They should remake SOCOM. They should remake it.
100% they should.
They
Yeah.
should. I mean, I miss SOCOM. It was one of my favorite games I used to play back in the day when you had it. Oh man, it was great. They should remake it. And what I find funny is that Call of Duty is an actual win. I mean, last generation, Call of Duty was shaken with oh man, I had this game at the tip of my mouth. Oh, when it came out, these battle royales. What's the name of it? Oh man, Woo. Not
Uh,
Fortnite, the other one.
uh,
Oh,
Apex Legends?
no, not Apex Legends. The other one, the oh, Player Unknowns.
Oh, PUBG. PUBG.
PUBG.
PUBG.
Yes,
Yeah.
PUBG. Oh my god, I had to put the time left. But when PUBG came out, it shook Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty. That was like a big punch in the face right there when PUBG came out. It was insane. And what did they have to do? They had to make their own battle royale in order to compete. That's what PUBG did. And not only that, look at Fortnite. Fortnite came out with their battle royale, and pretty much Fortnite is number one right now in battle royale. So why the heck Sony doesn't sit down and make their own thing like you said, SOCOM? Bring SOCOM back. You bring SOCOM back and make it freaking battle royale. I don't know what you do, but just do something with SOCOM. You bring it back, you're gonna get a lot of people jumping over there and buying your console. I mean, seriously, SOCOM is one of the classic war games that we played and had a lot of fun with. I mean, the four Navy SEAL team and all that stuff, that was insane. I remember playing the heck out of that game and had a lot of fun with it. I miss those type of games. I remember,
It was a game
yeah,
that defined the PlayStation 2 generation.
yes, it
It is
did.
a game that, again, folks, again, if the investment that Sony does into their single player games comes the way of something like a SOCOM or Resistance Fall of Man or like a Twisted Metal, they have legacy IPs for days, for weeks, a
Woo!
country mile worth of legacy IPs. Which I think those three that I just mentioned are part of the 12 that will be coming at one point or another for these gas games or games as a service as it's called. I have one last question because remember this is only a 70-minute not 80-minute podcast, and I do want to ask this question, but I do got to catch up on some of the super chats. There's been quite a few more. Space Davigan drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I think Jim took a big gamble throwing that into the wild. They might end up with less than that offer. And that's going to be my question. We'll get to that in a
Yep.
second. They're trying too hard and bad to look weak. Yeah, 100%. JD
Yep.
Gamer, what's going on, brother? Long time, no time. Hopefully, you and the family are doing well. He drops very generous $10 super chat. It says Sony is screwed. 7 ways to Sunday. Never, ever, ever shoot at a bear and not kill it. Expect
Yep.
this deal to go through, and then for Microsoft to remember Sony is trying to kill it. Microsoft is going after it all now, and you know something, 1,000% correct in saying so. Alex is a Valve. Alex, what's going on, brother? He drops, wow, a very generous $15 super chat. Wow, dude, thank you for the generosity. He says this: every episode is always a great one. Thank you, and as generous as that is, that's even more valuable to me is the fact that you are getting enjoyment out of the work that we do here on Double Barrel Gaming. He says the panels are always exciting to hear, and he says this: Jim Ryan, to me, as an owner of 3 different businesses, has to learn how to make more business rather than lose it. It's a great point. Excellent.
Yep.
Very, very
Totally agree.
smart. Jimbo Jangles, what's going on? He drops, holy cow, folks, a $20 super chat and says, imagine a team winning 6 championships in a row, then trying to block a trade because it might be harder for them to win again the next year. Also, shout out to Frame a Game. Just got my order. 11 out of 10 is my review. I actually have Frame a Game, who's a personal friend of mine, that he's part of the Grumpy Gamers podcast. If you don't know what we're talking about, Frame a Game it's so unique. And I know you can't see it really because I have it behind me over here. I have a Resident Evil 2 one I ordered, and it came in yesterday. And obviously with the madness, I didn't get a chance to open it. It's sitting right here. It's a Resident Evil 2, the Steelbook edition. It looks dope. I will definitely show it off. I gotta rework the back here because I don't have a man cave, not yet. Hopefully in a couple of years when me and Mrs. Boom finish saving up for a place, we're just in a small apartment, but we make it work. But so thank you for that, Jimbo. Definitely appreciate the generosity, and of course, shout out to Frame a Game. Though I mean, this is one dude that makes this. It is gaming artwork unlike anything you've ever seen, and it's done so well. Prices, they are what they are. They're not going to beat you over the head. You're not to sell your firstborn. They're worth every penny, and he ships it from the UK. Gets here in chef's kiss condition. Stuff Sean drops a very generous £5 super chat and says this deal won't be blocked. Yeah, I agree absolutely. Even this relatively minor issue from Microsoft is fixable. They're probably rolling their eyes, getting the sugar rush on Candy Crush. Yeah, and it's funny. This just goes to show you how big of a deal this is. Last financials, right, that came out last month, Candy Crush made more money than all of Call of Duty combined on all platforms. Think about that for a second. Call of Duty, right? The biggest. This is Warzone. This is Warzone and Vanguard. Last year, right? Those are big Call of Duties. Now, critically, it didn't do that good, but commercially, it sold like Call of Duties always sell. Candy Crush made more money than both of those Call of Duties combined across 3 platforms. Think about how big King is over Call of Duty. But here's my question to the chat. Here's my question to you, Sir Lou. After this display of Jim Ryan's total bullshit, pardon my French.
Yep.
And I see people in the chat talking about it. You're gonna know what this rock is putting down in a second. Does Microsoft now pull this offer and say, you know what? We're pulling Call of Duty after 2024. Suck it.
Will it happen? I don't think it will happen. I think you know what I think it might happen though. I think they would just leave Call of Duty there, and they will find another way on how to mess around with them. Because if I was Microsoft right now, my position, right, I would say, yeah, sure, cool. Let's get Call of Duty out there. Let's give it to you, all right, every single year. No problem, man. Here, you want an agreement? Here's an agreement. Here, you have it. You can have this. You can have that. It's cool. And like I said, a couple months go by. Let's say give it a couple months, 6 months, 7 months, something like that. Probably by after Xmas or next year. Once they got good stock on consoles out there in stores and all that stuff, you know what I would do? I would just lower the console price. That's what I would do. Just right then and there, boom, lower.
I think they're going to do that already.
Yeah.
I think that I honestly, this is what I think. This is my scenario, right?
Yep.
They're hurting for first party this year. We're well aware of that, right? That's a fact, right?
Yes, sir.
What they're not hurting in is having a lot of really high caliber Game Pass releases September through December. right?
Not
A lot of really big
mm,
ones.
and
What
and
I
not
do is in October, I launched a friends and family plan, $5 a month with 4
also,
additional people, and you
also
drop your consoles for Black Friday, right? Check this out. For Black
yeah.
Friday, for that 1 7-day block, maybe make it 8 days, make it 9 days, make it 10 days, whatever you want to do. You drop both consoles $50. One is 250, one is 450.
450.
And
Yep.
I'm gonna throw a zinger in here. And this is me, Everborn, Saga, and Kay Asante talking about this. They announce at the Tokyo Game Show next week, which we're going to be talking about in one of future episodes,
Mhm.
that Sonic's new game in Game Pass day and date. But I'm going to get one
Ooh.
better. What they do is they throw Sonic onto the box of both of
Yep.
these during Black Friday, and they include 60 days of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate in there. And there you go. There's your packing. You don't got
What?
you don't get just one game. You get 150 games, 200 games, 500 games.
Buy
And
60.
that's how they win Black Friday. That's how they convert people. And mind you, they don't have any bangers from first party.
Because
That's how you win 2022.
well, you mentioned 2022, but hey, man, how about 2023? I mean, look
It's
at all the
ridiculous.
stuff. It's
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Yeah.
We're getting so much in Game Pass. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's gonna be an insane year. That's what I'm saying. I would just say, hey, yeah, go ahead. You can have Call of Duty, no problem. Let's give it to you. Like, we're giving you Minecraft and everybody, let's have fun because, yeah, I mean, boom, it's $70 billion. They got to find a way to make it back. That's the shoot though. It's a lot of money, but I would do that. I would literally say, okay, let me go through this strategy because, like I said earlier, Sony, you are poking a beast.
Yep.
Stop poking at it. You're poking at it. And you don't know how it's gonna retaliate towards you. They can retaliate because right now you're complaining about a game. I wouldn't worry about the games. I mean, the game is just a game. I would worry more on what can they do because yeah, they're gonna agree on everything you guys say. Okay, yeah, let me put this game on the table for you to have it part until 2045 because at the end of the day, like I said, they got to make their money back. So it's part of the investment. They got to do it.
Yep.
So they will let that go through. But hey, okay, you guys do that. But here I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna drop my price here on the console, $50. You mentioned the Sonic game on Black Friday, right? Instead of 60-day Game Pass, why don't you just make it a year Game Pass plus and less the $50?
You could. I mean, if you really
Yeah.
want to drop the gauntlet, you could do
Yeah.
that. But I don't think that they have to.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
I don't
honest
think
with
that they
you
have to,
because the ultimate look at the end of the day, if they were to get Sonic day and date in Game Pass,
Yeah.
right? What that does is it gives you a marketing deal through Sega to put the Blue Bomber on these boxes.
Mhm.
We understand, and it's safe to assume that Sonic is still in the hearts and minds of kids because Sonic 2, the film, did incredibly well and continues to do well on streaming, right? You have a new game coming on the bookends. It started in the beginning of the year. You got Sonic 2. Now you have Sonic Frontier. You throw that onto the box, and there's your mascot. You don't own Sonic, at least yet, but you put him on the box, and you drop the giant bag off at Sega and say, listen, we're going to pay for double the copies that you would have sold because again, it's going up against God of War, right?
Yep.
So it does have a challenge, which I have a bet for knees with Kay Asante. I say that it sells out God of War 2-1, but that's that's my thoughts theory on that.
Yeah, because this Sonic game is actually looking really
it's looking
good.
so good, dude.
It's looking
Oh my
so
god!
good. And not only that, the reviews on when was it Gamescom? People that actually tried it out, they were giving good reviews.
Yeah, it was getting high praise. Yeah,
it was getting high praise. I mean, there was a reporter. It was a reporter or journalist. I don't know. He was asking him with the microphone, "Hey, how did you find the Sonic game?" Oh man, they were saying it's amazing. It's fun. It's pretty cool. And I also heard them talking about what's it called, Lies of P. That's the name of the other game, and they were talking about how the controllers. And that's another game that's
did anyone see my tweet from before the shit hit the fan yesterday with my family? about Gungrave Gore.
Oh, that's another.
Holy
Yeah, that's
effing
coming.
cow. That's coming into Game
Yes.
Pass November 22nd. And if you're like, well, what is Gungrave? It's
Yep.
a third person action game that has you completely going ham on everyone with gun after gun after gun. Go look it up.
Yep.
Gungrave Gore,
And
day
and
one in the Xbox Game
and,
Pass.
and let me tell you something, Boom. Look at all the stuff we're talking about. All the stuff, all those games we're talking about that are coming to Game Pass. We have mentioned a couple, right? We just mentioned a couple of them. And Sony is worried about one game.
Yeah, hello. Yeah,
One.
absolutely. Yeah.
One game. They're just
Yeah,
worried about one
you
game,
know
one
how Sony
franchise.
can fix this whole thing very simply?
Yeah.
Allow Game Pass onto PlayStation, but they won't do
They
that because
won't
what
do
it
that.
does is it embarrasses their current their $3 more a month service that doesn't offer day and date. That
Yep.
they gave Deathloop, and you know that Deathloop being the game this month in there was supposed to be like a spat in the face of Xbox. But I'm
Mhm.
hearing some things about that, and we may get some new information. But listen, let me catch up on these last super chats and let's
Go
get
for it.
out of here. We have
Okay.
Sapo, and this is cool. They drop a $5 super chat and says, "Business 101, accuse the other side of what you are actively doing. Good job, Jim." That's great. I love that. That's fantastic. Jacob Novik, what's going on, brother? Thank you for being here as always, and thank you for the $5 super chat. And says Microsoft tried to buy ABK 2 times. One, when Microsoft had begun creating the Xbox brand, and two, when Call of Duty was created. Don't know when the other 2 times was Jim or she said, don't know when the 2 times was Jim are screwed or Jim Ryan's is screwed. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they're screwed. I think
I
what
don't
you
think
have
either.
here is an opportunity. Microsoft gave you a 6-year opportunity to do better, to
Yeah.
basically take the time to create a better game than Call of Duty. Don't tell me you can't do it because all you
They
talk
can.
about is your bangers. Oh, our
Yeah, they
bangers are the best
can.
in the world. They're the most popular games. Well, then prove it.
And
Um,
not only that, Boom. They also have the Halo creator. They have
yes,
Bungie on their side. I mean, how come they forget about those? It's like I said, they're making themselves look weak. You're the number one right now leader, and you going out on this rant, you're making yourself look really weak. I don't understand why you're making yourself look really weak when you have made awesome bangers. And not only that, you have one of the greatest teams out there, which is Bungie. With Bungie, you can create a whole bunch of awesome stuff and live service content and cool stuff. Just sit down, talk to them, and make it. Like we said, SOCOM, one of those games. I mean, you could probably bring back. There was another good game I forgot the PlayStation had. I forgot the name of that game, but it was from PlayStation 3 era, which is really good. And a lot of people talk about it, but I forgot about it. That's another game.
Resistance Fall of Man.
I think it's Resistance. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that.
Resistance Fall of Man is one of my favorite games. That and
Yeah,
Motorstorm. Motorstorm is one of my
yeah,
favorite racers of like all time. Like I loved Motorstorm, and I didn't care too much for the second and third parts of Resistance Fall of Man. I loved it so much that I beat it like 4 times on the PlayStation 3. I would always run through it and run through it and run through it. I absolutely loved the first Resistance of Fall of Man. But listen, let's get everyone out of here. I want to
yeah,
thank first of all, I want to reiterate and say a big thank you to everyone who reached out to me via DM and via uh, Twitter, wishing my mom good wishes, best wishes, prayers, love. It goes a long way. Yesterday was incredibly chaotic. I'm exhausted because I was there too late. I was back there this morning. I'm going back as soon as I'm done with the show. Um, and I use this show as my zen. This is talking about games, hanging out with well over 500 people, close to 600 people. It's my happy place, if you will. And I appreciate everyone coming out. I appreciate Crazy Lou Gaming hanging out here. But by all means, sell your brand, brother. Talk about the Xbox International podcast. Talk about last night's show with special guests from Gamer Tag Radio, Danny Benya, who
yeah.
is one of my favorite people in the industry. He just released his first children's book. I think that is fan-freaking-tastic. Talk about it, and where can people reach out to you and see some of your crazy antics that you do daily there?
Well, where you can see my crazy antics is easy. You can find me at Twitter at Crazy Louis Gaming. That's where I basically do all my crazy antics and say my good mornings and talk about gaming and all that stuff right there. With anybody who wants to talk with me right there directly. And also, last night episode with Danny Pena was freaking awesome. I mean, he's such a good guy, such a great guy. He talked to us about his book that is going to be releasing next week. I think it's September 15 or 16. Well, it's one of those 2 days right there. But yeah, it's a kid book about him, and it's going to encourage, kids to get into podcasting or get into gaming and to change the thoughts of the Hispanic community, because here we were talking about that yesterday on how Dominican Republic on how the mothers say turn that Nintendo off, and it's like an Xbox, and they,
that's what it's always been. And let me ask you something: how many chancletas have you had thrown at you by your mother? Because I know I've had quite a few. Yeah, I've had quite a few.
Oh man, I mean, there's a chancleta here in the Dominican Republic they call the samurai. I don't know why they're called samurai. Literally, I mean, your mom could be out over there, right? Like 3 miles away. She could throw the chancleta. The chancleta just, even though it gets, I don't know how it moves, but it literally hits you in the head. Doesn't matter what position you're in, it never misses. It just hits you in the head. But yeah, I had a bunch of chancletas in my life. Yeah, I mean, just by playing video games, and yeah, turn that Nintendo off. I said, but it's a PlayStation. I don't care for it's a Nintendo. And and it's just to change the community here to learn about what gaming is, because when I talk to the people here about gaming, like that I do podcasting and stuff like that, they're like, why do you podcast about gaming? But then when I talk about how gaming has and people have invested in it, they're like, sounds interesting. They get into it after I start talking about the investments. That's it. But they don't understand why we love it though. But yeah, you can also find me talking about games and all that stuff in Crazy Louis Gaming YouTube channel, 7 p.m. ET, Xbox International, with my brothers Silent Cypher and Sour Blow, each and every week giving out gaming news, guys.
Which we're going to get both those gentlemen along with you on the show to kind of help promote your podcast. I'm going to do a Double Barrel Gaming Presents. We'll sit down and we'll talk in a DM when we can get that done. I don't want to schedule anything right now because life is crazy. Man. But yeah, I want to get people to come to your show. You guys do a great job. All three of you guys are incredible members of the community, and I want people to check you out on a weekly basis. And like I said, if you missed last night's show with Danny Pena, please go check that out.
Yeah, and Boom, thank you so much again for having me on the show as always, and really lots of love and prayers for your mom, and hope she comes out right. Really.
Oh yeah,
it has me worried.
Yeah, no, I definitely appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. A huge thank you to all the super chats. Like I said, those really do help power the show, not just with the giveaways. When I need new lighting, when I need new cameras, when I need a new microphone, that's what we use it for. When I need new programs to do the thumbnails that I have to pay for every year, that's what we use channel membership for. That's what we use super chats for. And of course, before you get on out of here, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to Double Barrel Gaming, because more of this content is coming. And of course, hit the like button. And I will close out today's show, ladies and gentlemen, with something that is important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. That's something that my awesome pop taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live.